This is the team we're going to be using today. It's going to be using Quaquaval, Murkrow, Gholdengo, Hydreigon, Hisui, Arcanine, and Trevenant, one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. I love Trevenant, and I haven't really used Quaquaval like that much, but I think it's a cool mon. This is a Moxie boosted set with Aqua Step. This is a Patreon team fixing. If you guys have teams you guys want to get checked out, you want me to work on, think about checking out the Patreon. Everything is going to be, linked to where things are linked. But basically, we scroll all the way down here. We've been working on a lot of the Patreon teams. We're trying to get to every single one this month, so we still have time if you guys want me to feature one of your guys' teams and, fix it, do my absolute best to polish it up real nice. This is Curtis's team, and so they say, hey, to begin, this is a variation of my very first VGC team for the ladder. My original team means so much to me, as Shady Penguin featured on his channel. You guys can go see it. Shady featured it. I watched a little bit of the video. If you're interested in seeing the original team and how he piloted it, I have made a lot of big changes from my initial team, but it still does not seem to line up quite right. I will need help because I think there is some cool tech. And so they go down and explain the rules and the roles of every single one of these Pokemon. They have like Quaquaval. They're using like a Screech Murkrow, which is actually really, really cool. They're going to be using a standard like Specs Dango. And then they have like a Hydreigon. Hydreigon and Dango go very well together with the Haze Murkrow. We've used that recently. It's great into Psy Spam, which this team actually does kind of struggle with. Hisui Arcanine, I feel, is the big miss on the team. And they even said themselves, like, they throw it on the team while it works. They don't use it that much. And then Trevenant is the last mon for like Imprison Trick Room. I really like Trevenant. So yeah, I think like this is a cool team. They say cons this team. I think the big issue with this team as it currently stands is maybe too aggressive. And I feel like that is going to happen when you play like Imprison Trick Room, Gholdengo, Murkrow. What you need to actually doing is like leaning into the full aggression and forcing your opponent into trades, right? You need to say, hey, I'm offering you this piece. Give me a piece back of like equal or lesser value, and we'll go to a 3v3, and then we'll go to a 2v2, and then when you're in that 2v2, but you have like a setup Quaquaval or like a Hydreigon that has really good defensive typing and an AV against whatever they have, you should be able to win. Like, for example, if I'm using Gholdengo Murkrow and I'm trading my Murkrow for their Terramon while still keeping my Gholdengo, and then I can bring up my Quaquaval, and now their big threat's gone and Quaquaval can just start sweeping, that's a win, right? So you need to start trading correctly, but you are right, it is very aggressive. It's more so that you need to, instead of like feeling that you're the one that's forced into overcommitting, you're creating situations, you should be creating situations that force your opponent into just as aggressive plays. And the only issue in which you might be losing is in a tailwind trade, we don't have any mon that actually deals like big pressure. So like if I were to leave Murkrow Dango and they leave like Murkrow Pult, we're pinned, right? So we might want to add something that helps us say we actually can just go fast immediately if we have to. I think it's a really cool team, and if we take a look at some of these EVs, some of these need to be cleaned up a little bit, some of these terrors need to be changed, some of these moves might need to be changed. So yeah, I think it's a cool team, and hopefully we get some wins, so let's just hop into some games, and here we go. Ooh, Skeledirge. I have a cool Skeledirge team coming out relatively soon, and Murkrow. So one thing about this team is, like, a lot of the mons have, like, full speed investment, like the Arcanine has full speed investment, the Hydreigon has full speed investment, but they're not all like jolly or timid, and so we actually just lose the speed ties. Like, for example, like Hydreigon could get outsped by that Rotom, and I really don't want that. Arcanine can get outsped by that Rotom, and I really don't want that. Gholdengo, full speed investment, gets outsped by Rotom. I don't really want that. So you gotta, if you're gonna go full speed, you have to actually go with the nature to go with that. Let's think about what we want to do here. Amoonguss can be problematic. I really like Dango, but if they lead like Chomp, if they were to lead Garchomp Murkrow, I'd be in a bit of a pickle. So I think I have to lead something. I will still lead like Gholdengo Murkrow, and then I'm going to pivot in my Hydreigon if there's a problem with Chomp, and then I'll try and close Quaquaval because that's the mon we're trying to feature. There's no threat of Trick Room here, so we don't need Trevenant. And I think Arcanine's good, but I don't really want to bring Arcanine into like the ground, rock, water matchup. Like you were talking about in your initial submission post, Arcanine's the weak link on this team. I think that we need to make that Arcanine into a slot that like gives us immediate pressure that we can pair with Murkrow, so we don't have to leave with our more exposed mons like Hydreigon and Dango. Let's see, Sand Team or Scarlet Rotom? No, I think it's a Sand Team, and then you add like Skeledirge or Rotom to supplement the Sand as well. So they have Redirection up here. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to lead the Dango, because we just don't care what they're doing. We also don't need to like Tailwind, so I'm not going to. Yeah, I will. I'll still Tailwind. I could even pivot. Yeah, I'll still Tailwind. I think that's fine. Tailwind, I'm going to go big Terra here and just pop. One thing I'm kind of worried about here is them taking out my Murkrow with like a Rotom. But I'd much rather like get the Amoonguss off the board. Yep. You see, I'm the most organized YouTuber, you know. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so we're not going to break this Rotom. Obviously, this is 4th, but we're just going to be able to come in with Hydreigon after this, and Hydreigon can pin. And thanks, because we have Tailwind, even if we KO this Amoonguss, and you bring in Garchomp to pin my Hydreigon, because I don't have Terra anymore, I can just beat your Rotom with my Hydreigon, basically. Here's the Tailwind. Let's see. Is that a sub? Thank you. Thank you for that sub. Appreciate it, yo. Let's go. 12-month streak. That's a whole year. Appreciate it, yo. Appreciate it. So that Amoonguss did not die, and I want to say the reason why that Amoonguss did not die is because our Goldango does not have enough investment. And it's okay. Oh, they try to trick me. Oh, we take these all the way to the bank. Wins up. So your Goldango, if you're going to run that full spec set and be like a bully, you probably should be. Did I just get spored on the Murkrow slot? That's fine. I mean, I can't haze, but like honestly, I'm just going to stay in here. Doesn't matter what move we click, because we are asleep. And we're just going to make it rain again. We just have to get the Amoonguss off the board, because Amoonguss is like the biggest problem for what we want to close with. We can't like pivot in Hydreigon if the Amoonguss is just sporing us in the face. And we also don't want to let them Pollen Puff. There isn't really that many mons that want to pivot in on this either. Skeledirge can, right? But you see how we're forcing like a really, really reactive board, and now we have a great pivot into our Hydreigon. So Murkrow's going to burn a sleep turn. If you KO the Murkrow, that's fine. I don't really care. We're going to be bringing in the Hydreigon and probably pivoting out the Goldango. Also, Skeledirge is unaware. Do you see how it's unaware of our stat drop? So we can actually just stay in. We crit the Skeledirge. Look at that damage. We can just stay in and just start like pelting it. See, they trick into my Murkrow. They're choice locked, right? That's funny. So they take our what is it? Is it Eviolite? I think we had Eviolite, right? Yeah, cool. Murkrow does not care, and so now you can start attacking stuff. But Murkrow's probably gonna wake up this turn, so we don't need to haze. I can probably just like pivot in the Hydreigon here, and I'm gonna pivot. I don't need Goldango for like anything else in this matchup. I'd rather just get the Skeledirge really low. So we're pivoting Hydreigon. We're going to save the Quaquaval, because Quaquaval can come out and get like one Aqua Step into either of these guys. And I'd like to see if we can force a Terra before using the Quaquaval. That'd be really nice. And another cool thing is they don't have like T-Tar and Garchomp here. They have that Amoonguss. But like, ugh, almost got the Skeledirge. Almost got it. Unaware's biting him in the butt right now. Volt Switch, awesome, cool. We didn't want to switch in Quaquaval and have like a Volt Switch going to the Dango slot, right? So let's see where they're going. You can bring in Amoonguss here, but we still have Make It Rain. And I think the Dango should be able to live like a Torch Song, because we do have a lot of HP investment. Same trainer and outfit, but probably. So here's the Amoonguss again. Hydreigon's great into that. Torch Song, all right, let's see it. Live, buddy. Whew, eating those for breakfast, bro. Big Wheaties. Let's think about this. Is that Throat Spray? Wow, that's greedy. Yeah, I think because we know that they have a weakened Rotom, I can go for a Dark Pulse into the Amoonguss and Make It Rain, but I think I could also just Draco it. If I get this Hydreigon put to sleep, I will like lose the game. Our Hydreigon investment is like no special attack either. That's the problem. So I think I actually have to Draco it, which is fine. So just Draco the Amoonguss, Make It Rain. We'll still KO Skeledirge. So Protect Skeledirge is absolutely fine. I wonder what they think they're going to do. You can't Spore the Dango, bro. Draco! Come on, Merc. Come on, Goldango. It's like -3 Goldango. Dark Pulse would not have gotten that. Let's go. The -4 Dango. Coming at you hot. Oh, yes. Amoonguss down. So you can bring out T-Tar. You can bring out Garchomp. You can bring out a lot of different things. I think Garchomp would be really, really good here. As my Hydreigon's at like -2, you still have Terra. Tailwind's petered out. I would probably think about pivoting for... Is it Rotom? Yeah, they don't have Garchomp. What do they have then in this last spot? Why don't they bring out their good Pokemon? They just didn't bring Garchomp. I don't think they have Murkrow here. It's probably T-Tar. Now, let's see, though. I think we just go for Draco here again and just Make It Rain. And we see if we outspeed the Rotom, which I doubt. I think it's a full speed Rotom because they were a choice set initially. And we should be able to give off what we want here. Draco D's, bro. Because Hydreigon's going to outspeed. Even at -2, we still get that KO. And then we'll be able to take the Skeledirge out here. So we honestly just had like a better team than them. And so like, remember what you were talking about? Like your team feels too aggressive. Like we're forcing our opponent to meet us at a specific level. And we're forcing them into aggressive plays that this guy did not bring the right Pokemon to make those aggressive plays. We were trying to force a Garchomp. We're trying to force that T-Tar. They didn't meet us, so we just won, you know. Works for us every single time. See the last 2 months. There's the Garchomp. Why didn't he bring nothing out? All right. He always gets back to me when he has a chance. He's the reason I finished 7th and 11th in the World Online tournaments. Yo, congrats. That's really nice. I mean, I try. I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of emails. I'm gonna pivot in the Murkrow here. We do not need this Goldango for like anything at all. It can just die. Hydreigon just needs to reset. I try. You know, I every morning when I wake up, I have like probably like 50 DMs. You know, like just like I wake up, I'm Discord just like, whoa, you know, a line of like DMs. Same thing on Patreon, but I try and get to him. You know, there's the Dragon Claw. Like I said, we pivot that guy out. Murkrow actually holds on. And we are good to go. I wonder if it's like what kind of chomp that is. Oh man, and we crit the Make It Rain to finish it off. Yo, value. Make it rain, make it pain. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying out here. Goldango's just good. Goldango's just good. Oh, is that Carbink? So this is going to be TR. Trevenant would be really good into this, but I do not want to get bopped by Braviary, which is definitely an option. So like I think we're going to lead... We need to imprison, right? That is just going to happen. Like we have to imprison. But I think we need to lead like Hydreigon and Trevenant. I think that's probably the way this is going to have to go down. And our Hydreigon has Steel Terra, and I will let you Final Gambit the Hydreigon because it means you can't Trick Room, and then I just bring in like the Goldango and close it. And then we'll still bring the Quaquaval because that's what we're trying to feature. Is it better if I want you to fix my team to do it through Patreon on Discord? So there's that official submission post. Like, all right, so the two teams that you've shown me, you showed me like a team that was like a copy paste of like the King Gambit team that like top cut all the events. And I'm like, that team's fine. It does not need fixing. You might want like a general better understanding of how to play it, but like that team's going to get you like an 80% win rate in most situations. And the other team with the Corv, again, it doesn't need that much fixing. Like there's not that many holes in the team. I think you just have to be okay with like having like a 60-70% win rate. You know, teams have good matchups and bad matchups, but like the team that you showed was solid. There weren't like issues. You say 2 TR setters. Is that what they led with? Yeah, I'm just going to imprison it. If they imprison me with their Inity and they're faster than my Trevenant, so they can then Trick Room with their... If they click imprison and Trick Room, they're gamers. We're just going to Snarl. But you can also post it on the Patreon post, or you can, you know, just message me more in DMs and then get more of my opinion on it. Gonna catch a stream next time. Happy to have you here. Good luck today. Fighting Terra. Yo, he woke up and chose violence. Am I gonna get Terra blasted? I don't care. Like, go nuts. Like, I got Dango in the back. Dango's the real throw. We just need to break sturdy. That's why I'm clicking Snarl to play around to follow me. So Snarl goes out. Special attack drop a Moondode. I would love to see Imprison Trick Room. I would love it. I would actually love it if you did that to me. All right, no, did he double TR? No way. The Entity's TRing. We don't know what the Carbink's doing. Body press. All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool, that works. Hydreigon it's Dango time now. I woke up and chose Dango. And he's trying to Trick Room, right? Yep. Do I need to go Dango? I can actually probably go this. No, I like Dango here. I'm going to throw a Leech Seed into the Carbink. The Imprisoned TR would have been a gamer play. I've made a team that does that before. We don't need to click Make It Rain in this matchup, I don't think. We also don't want a Shadow Ball. I kind of want to Trick, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I kind of want to Trick this Indeedee. I guess I could also trick the Carbink. What item is on the Carbink? We don't need to click Make It Rain here. And I think that Make It Rain here would be a mistake. Because I don't want to Make It Rain and then they bring in Torkoal. And then I'm like, oh no, I hit it. You know, I want to be able to Shadow Ball it. And I don't want to go... Oh, Rage Quit. Yeah, I mean, that works for me. Definite Rage Quit. You have no matchup there. You can't hit either of those two Ghost types. You got Body Press and Imprisoned. Like, GG's. Show me that rage quit all the way to the bank. Imprison doesn't just say that you beat TR. If you're saying, like, I have Imprison, I beat TR every time, that's not necessarily how it works. Like, for example, if I lead Trevenant and they lead into the Armorage and I want to click Imprison and they just, like, Armor Cannon my face, I will die, right? You know, that's how it goes. But Imprison is a tool that says they cannot set Trick Room and kill you at the same time with their setter, right? So, like, if I lead with something that checks their NDD, like a Hydreigon, and I want to go Imprison, I can go a Dark Pulse into that entity slot. It can't TR if, like, it doesn't want to waste Terror or something. And then Armorage can't TR because of the Imprison. It has to Armor Cannon, which means I'm actually going to get their Redirector off the board with our Hydreigon, trading them 1 for 1, and then bring out something else that pins the Armorage, like an Arcanine, right? Let's see what we want to do here. Quaquaval's still, it's usable, right? But I think against hard TR, I think you are better off going like Hydreigon. They do have Gallade, and that's a little bit of an issue. So maybe we just open up with, like, let me check this Arcanine set. We have Head Smash. I mean, we want to go Trevenant. I'm going to go Goldango, and I'm going to go Trevenant. I wish our Trevenant had Fire Terra, by the way. I really wish it had Fire Terra. We're going to go Hydreigon and Quaquaval, because, like, we're supposed to feature Quaquaval, right? That's the idea. We could also lead Quaquaval here because it has Ice Spinner. I think it has Ice Spinner, so, like, Ice Spinner is great into this matchup. Like, if they want to go Indie Gallade, we could just lead Quaquaval and Trevenant and just Ice Spinner out. You're going to go to NAIC in June. Yeah. It's been a journey to be one of the first quadriplegics to get top 100 NAIC. Good luck, you know. Top 100 NAIC is really, really hard. There's a lot of people. Make sure to sign up in time. So let's think about what we want to do here. I'm not going to Terra. I think Trevenant should be able to live a Psycho Cut unless they crit. Yeah, good luck. NAIC, I'll probably beat NAIC. It's a really, really fun tournament. We could Trick. I don't really mind, like, the Trick here, because we don't need our specs. I'm going to Trick into the Gallade, because I think you might wide grab me anyways, and I'm just going to go for the Imprison. I think it's fine. And then eventually we're going to lose one of these Mons and then come back in, and if we Trick one of these guys, they can't Trick Room, and if they go, like, Follow Me to stop Shadow Ball. Helping Hand, cool. You're going to try and pop my Trevenant, but you know what happens when you do this. You're not Trick Rooming me. Shadow Ball Zoroark. That's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. It's no issue. Good stuff. Zoroark on board. Problem with this is now Trevenant does not have a Fire Terra. Right? No Fire Terra on this Trevenant, so we actually, like, are just gonna get pinned, because, like, actually it does have Terra. I thought it has Ghost. Okay, cool. Sorry, it's Dark. I thought it had Ghost on the rental. Cool. I'm happy to know that we have that. Alright, so if you're Zoroark, I just come with Quaquaval, I think. Hydreigon's also really good. I'm going to come with Hydreigon. And I just got to go Dark Terror on the Trevenant. And then we know that they have the Gallade back there, but I think this is fine. Let me really think about what I want to do here. I don't need to Snarl, because I don't need to care about that Zoroark. Snarl's fine. And I will go Dark Terra. Yeah. Dark Pulse isn't right, because our Hydreigon only has 36 points in special attack. There's a Terra Fiery, right? Steel. It's fine. So, like, that's another reason why you don't want to go Dark Pulse. Like, they're just going to go Follow Me. I'm sure that Zoroark, it looks specs to me, but, like, we'll see. Yeah, it says on the sheet here that the Trevenant was submitted with Ghost Terra, and I'm like, that's not right. Oh, they're just going deep, huh? Alright, let's see it. Into our Hydreigon. Whoa. It's vested Hydreigon, bro. I don't know about that. Big weakness. And we hit the entity slot with a Hornleech, which is never lucky, but, like, I think that that's fine. Yeah, so the issue with this entity here, right, is... Oh, I hit the Zoroark. I hit the Zoroark. Good, good. I'm glad that I did, because I was like, oh no, this is really bad. Yeah, I forced the follow me that I didn't use. But now I'm caught in a position where like I don't really have like good lines into their actual Gallade. I have 2 mons that are weak to fighting now. So I'm not very happy about that. I think they're going to get us here. And again, like, the Trevenant, you can't really see. Let me move my webcam here. It says it had a Ghost Terra, and so like I would have played this a little bit differently if I would have known that, but it's my fault. Let's think about what we need to do. You're going to hit the Hydreigon, because you're not afraid of the Trevenant. So, like, I'm going to pivot out for Quaquaval. And if I live on the Quaquaval, we might be able to get something done. That's the idea. Because we can, like, leave in a Protect. You know. Maybe pivot out the Quaquaval for, like, the Hydreigon to block a Psychic Attack. There's the Follow Me. Cool. I mean, I'm just going to stick a Leech Seed onto it. And I missed my Leech Seed. Oh my god, dude. Are you freaking kidding me? And then you Sacred Sword me, and you didn't even respect the Hydreigon? Oh, dude, that's so freaking unlucky. That's so dumb. Miss Leech Seed into, like, they hit the wrong... Oh my gosh. Big sad. GG's. That's game. Now they just go follow me, TR the Gallade. Big sad. Big sad. I don't think there's anything we can really do here. Like, we could go close combat, and then if we do outspeed the Gallade, we could go for a Dark Pulse into that slot. The Quaquaval does not outspeed the Hydreigon, so we cannot flinch this thing if they click follow me. Let me just read this comment. Can you walk me through your thought process when making a team? I don't see the actual benefits of choice items. Why are they so highly used? Returning player last game was Sapphire. So choice items are really good. That's a good follow me there, by the way. Yeah, choice item. Why don't you think choice items are good? I'm actually curious, because at the end of the day, it's all about your base stats, and choice items are a 1.5 boost to usually one of your highest stats. It's basically just like making a Pokemon that's like not relevant. Now, I think choice items are great. It's like the last little bit of magic that can happen here. Yeah, they're gonna get a Trick Room here. Thank you for the follow. This game's over. We had a team sheet error, and we lost the game because of it. Yeah, I could have played that very differently. I didn't respect the Zoroark enough. But let's think about how... Oh, Hydreigon. I don't want to think about that. How's the grind going for Reg H? We're just doing team fixing today, so it's not like we're doing anything, like, spectacular. You're probably going to go to the Hydreigon, right? Let me really think about what we need to do. Is there any way that we win here? At all. I'm trying to think of, like, one win. This is our only Protect. We can get them in a doubling to that slot incorrectly and drop, like, a fat Draco crit into the Gallade. I think that is our only out. They facaded correctly, but I don't know if they get the KO. Alright, and then Psycho Cut. Nice, nice. We're gaming. If I crit your Gallade here, I actually can have shots to win. Never, like, even a crit wouldn't have got it. We tried. What are our outs here still? There's no way that, like, we win. I don't see it. I don't see the win. I don't see the dub. We had to go for another one. I'm still gonna go for this. Like, I'm still going. Like, you might as well. Nope, no double. So yeah, learning VGC after going through a TCG arc. I mean, I've done both. I've won TCG cups. I've played a lot of TCG. I've almost made a dual. I've almost gotten a dual invite. That was back in like 2015 for both of them. Both games are fun. I think they're actually both similar. Like, that's just my opinion. Yeah, thank you for the sub, though. Appreciate it. 44 months. Happy to have you here. But let me answer this question. Like, my thought process when making a team. Well, this is a team fixing, so it's gonna be a little different than like me building a team. But a general rule of thumb, if you want my opinion on building a team, I'll give that to you right now. I'll give that to you. I'll show you what I'm working with. We'll do this real quick. Watch this. Hydreigon needs more hatred? Oh, for sure. So, general rule of thumb when building a team. Now, you can go Trick Room, you can go Tailwind, you can go Balance. There's so many different ways you can go Weather, right? Even fixing, how to identify what shouldn't or shouldn't be there. We're going to get to that when we fix it, right? It all comes down to your speed tiers. It all comes down to your speed tiers, right? The team that was submitted doesn't hit the right speed tiers. It's not fast enough to actually trade Tailwind. So what I would be saying is you want something that can force your opponent to react to what you're doing. You want to set a narrative and get your opponent to react. You want to get them to force something. So for example, like this team has Gholdengo Murkrow in it, right? So when they see this, they're going to see, okay, well, all right, I can either go one of two options. I can either A, outspeed this Gholdengo Murkrow with like a Tailwind and Mon that's faster, so like something like a Dragapult and a Prankster Tailwind setter, or something like an Annihilape and a Prankster Tailwind setter, like a Whimsicott, would be able to outvalue this board. Or you can go for a defensive option, say, oh, well, I can just wall the Make It Rain, right, with something like a King Gambit or like a Magmar or an Incineroar. So those are the two options. Are you going to wall it, or are you going to outpace it? And so what you want to create is situations where your opponent reacts to what we're doing. Yeah, our opponent in the first game just outsped the Gholdengo and killed it, right? Or in the game we just played. So when you're setting up teams, you want to create situations, in my opinion, that force your opponent into very specific answers. Because right now, the answer they have is they can outspeed it or wall it. And I want to know which one you're going to do. So I want to create a lead that instead of making this like a Gholdengo, I might make this into something like, maybe I'll keep like my Murkrow here. But I'll put like a Typhlosion here, right? And like a Scarf Typhlosion, right? And so now what this says is if I want to go Tailwind and I want to Eruption, you now can't outspeed unless you also have a Choice Scarf Mon. So this is where the value of Choice item comes in, because it allows us to function outside of our normal speed tiers, right? And so in a situation where you cannot outspeed me, your only options are to wall me, right? And if I know what you have to do to wall me, I don't ever have to lead with this Murkrow Typhlosion, because I know that you are not going to just lose to it. You're going to bring in your Magmar. You're going to bring in your, you're not going to bring in your Steel types, and you're not going to bring in your Grass types. So you know what works really good against those not Grass type things? Maybe like a Garchomp, right? If you're going to bring in your Magmar and your Incins to wall my Typhlosion, I'm going to use Garchomp here, and then I'm going to lead Murkrow Garchomp and just roll you over, right? And you could say, what? I don't have to do that. It's like, okay, then just lose to this in the first place. You know, it works. That's just how the game goes. Then from there, you want to start adding like redirections, maybe another Mon that could also, give you a little bit of comeback potential, maybe add a Sash Mon. I have whole videos on my YouTube channel explaining like what the roles are and like setting up your speed control, going with like your main leads, your dive buddies, your off tanks and things like that. But that's kind of how, team building goes, in my opinion. Force situations and force very specific responses. You don't want to let them do like 5 different things versus a lead. You want to make a team that says, hey, you can beat me if you do X. And if you do X, I have an out for it thanks to my EVs, thanks to my items and stuff like that. Right? That's kind of how it goes. That's how I build, right? Because when I go to regionals, I'm someone who's top cut multiple regionals. And this is back before we used to have like automatic day 2. If you had like X2, you had to actually have good resistance. So I would build teams that could go 4-0, 5-0. And then you know what? If you play Wolf Glick or you play Aaron Zhang or Joe UX9, you can take that L because those are a good tiebreaker, right? And you can take 2 of them and still make day 2, right? So that's how it works. Is like you don't need to beat everyone. You just need to beat like 80% of the people that are going to be at the venue that you're going to do. So like, for example, one thing I really liked in previous formats was Whimsicott and Terrakion. This is a very, very aggressive lead. There are like 3 things that can outspeed it, and if you want to outspeed it, you can. And you can also try and wall it and redirect it. You absolutely can. But the things that I paired it with in those formats were things like Indeedee, Fluttermane, and Chi-Yu. with something like a Torkoal in the back if I wanted to go into a TR mode for my own entity. And so, how do you beat Whimsicott Terrakion? You have to click follow me, otherwise I'm going to beat up and I'm going to get in there, I'm going to clap those cheeks. So you have to lead with your Ogre Pawns, your entities, your Mouseholds, your redirection, right? I don't need to lead Terrakion, right? I can lead Whimsicott Flutter and go Tailwind, Specs, D-Gleam, blow up. You have a useless follow me mon on the board. It's going to take like 80% of this health. I lose one of my mons, Chi-Yu, round 2, blow it up, right? And that's how it works. You're conditioning your opponent and forcing the responses that you want them to do, that they have to do, otherwise they lose. And there's a lot that goes into that. It's all about experience, understanding the game. The good players are the ones that don't fall for those feints, and they're like, if you want to Whimsicott Terrakion me, do it. And so that's where like the experience in playing like a best of 3 kind of comes in. But there's a lot of work to do. If we take a look at like the team that was submitted today, we're gonna obviously we're gonna play another game and get into the fixing. This team doesn't force the right responses. I talked about at the very start. I can go Murkrow, but I'm enabling like a not full speed base 84, a not full speed base 85, a not technically full speed base 98, a full speed base 90. So like they can just lead like anything with over 100 base speed and Tailwind, and I'm not allowed to lead Tailwind into that because I would lose that trade. I have to try and like wall them, and we also have no other way of speed control. So it's really, really hard to keep up with their tempo. But we're gonna make some changes and actually give ourselves some cool options into that stuff. Thank you for the sub as well, appreciate it. Thank you. So this team still has like a lot of holes, but you know, we're gonna fix those. Do they have dynamic speed control? Can they go fast, right? And the answer is no, they do not have dynamic speed control. The best thing that they have is like Swagger Grim into one of my mons, and then they go Sneasler Mirror Orbit. That's like the best thing they have. And so if we're gonna outplay that, the right lead into that is Murkrow Dango. Just because you can't swagger my dark type and you can't swagger the good as gold. So there we go. Murkrow Dango is just, it works here. It's not great. You obviously have the Incin too. I'm bringing the Quaquaval because again, we're trying to feature that. I think that's another thing about like my team fixings that you don't see when other people feature teams is like, I'm not throwing for content, but I'm trying to use the team in the way it was submitted. I think honestly that like Trevenant could still be a really good mon here. I think Hydreigon's still very valuable here, but it's kind of hard to say. I will be bringing Arcanine for this last spot, and I think Arcanine is this team's weakest link. If Arcanine was a little bit of a faster Pokemon, like a Pult, we'd be able to be I think Pult would make this really good. Another way to learn as a beginner is to use other people's teams. I actually don't agree with that. I think I'm one of the few people that doesn't agree with that. I think instead of using other people's teams, even if you learn to do it right, you're learning how to be like a carbon copy of like someone else. You should actually really just, in my opinion, use the things that you like in the way that you like them. And then if you mess up or don't succeed, you replace those things with other things that you see that you like, right? Because what you're doing by just copying someone else is you're really cutting your own growth and like capping what you could be, in my opinion. Like I don't like, it has nothing to do with copying or anything like that. I feel like you can just grow more as a player by experiencing more and embracing that failure that you get when your own ideas, you know, don't stick. So they let in Sin Blood Moon, which is a good lead. I think Sin Blood Moon's good. They can't threaten any real speed control here. I don't want to pivot out my Dango. I don't really mind losing the Dango either. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pivot in my Arcanine here. And I'm just going to click Make It Rain. Goldingo's not important in this matchup. You have to overcommit. Like, you can click Flare Blitz. Oh, we know there's probably going to be like a... I would say a Fake Out. I didn't want to waste the Terra on the Murkrow. I don't really care. Yeah, there's a Fake Out on the Murkrow, so just let that happen. This is Rockhead, not Intimidate Arcanine, by the way. So Make It Rain's doing good damage to the Blood Moon. If we had a Goldango that was submitted with full special attack, which is what we're going to be changing it to, we would have KO'd there. But you can kind of see how not having that Dango, that's also not Life Orb Blood Moon. So that means I probably have Vacuum Wave, so we got to watch out for that. So I think in this situation, the Arcanine that was submitted also is like not this Arcanine. This one said it had Head Smash Protect. The Arcanine that we have right here is like Extreme Speed Wild Charge Rock Slide, so that's not what I wanted, but it's okay. We're just gonna Rock Slide here. We're gonna pivot in the Quaquaval. That's another thing. It's like I also have to like play with like these teams that are the wrong Terras, the wrong moves and stuff like that. You say you made teams starting with ones that worked and adding mons that I liked. It was just bad for me when I started from scratch. It's hard, you know. So here's a Terra. I don't care if they're going to go Grass Terra and Sin, like, I don't care. We need to hit the Blood Moon with Water Terra. That's fine. I mean, if you want to go Terra Blast Water, be my guess. But saving this Dango is going to be really nice. I think they're going to Vacuum Wave that slot. Protect. Okay. That works. Maybe they're just Flare Blitzing the Dango slot. Yeah, let's see. We could also have E-Speeded the Blood Moon. Maybe we want to do that next turn if we have to, but I don't think we need to. Alright. Terra Blast Water? U-turn. I was going to say, that Terra Blast Water would have cooked. Alright, so what are they bringing in here? Sinistcha actually gets doubled up into by this board pretty well. Might have to Terastallize the Arcanine and play around like a crit Vacuum Wave if we want to double into the Sinistcha. Sneasler. So they have another Fake Out pin. I'm okay with that. Kind of wish we had Protect in this Arcanine like the one that was submitted. I would double Protect here. I think if we go Aqua Step and E-Speed into the Blood Moon, we get it off the board. And we just deal with the consequences of Sneasler. Yep. So they're not Fake Outing, but like, I don't really care if you want to like Dire Claw my Quaquaval. I think you're close combat in the Arcanine anyways, and then like you'll get a stat drop and we'll get your... Oh, Dire Claw. Okay, good play. No sleeps. Poison's absolutely okay. Poison's A-okay. Big damage. Put the Sneasler within range for E-Speed. Probably. Probably. Maybe not Intimidated E-Speed, though. We'll see. What do you guys think? We got Quaquaval, yeah. And so this team was submitted with, like, Screech Murkrow, Quaquaval, and, like, I just don't think that team has, like, enough, like, gas in the tank to make it work. They decided not to go the Incin there. I'm gonna go for the E-Speed here. I think I can get the KO, and we're gonna try and stick fat damage into your Kommo-o. Protect is absolutely okay. And if you Clang Soul here, I still think that's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if next turn they pivot out Sneasler for Incin. Big Ice Spinner. Big. There's a Clang Soul. Cool. So they're going to be faster. This is where, like, having a not very fast Quaquaval is kind of biting us in the butt, but I think what we need to do is, like, let's think about it. There's a couple things. I want to see if they also have Throat Spray. Because we have Murkrow Dango in the back, and that's the thing, I think I'm really okay with it. I think Murkrow Dango does just win if used correctly. We still have our Terra up as well. Like, these guys will come out and just win. Especially if we can stick like a little bit more damage. I don't want to Protect with a Quaquaval. There's nothing that we outspeed. Like, we might outspeed. Like, I think that that is the play. I want to see if they Protect Kommo-o, Pivot, and Sin. That's a good play. Protect Kommo-o, Pivot, and Sin is good. Let's see, though. Intimidate doesn't work on Quaquaval. Quaquaval should not outspeed this guy. His speed goes off. Ah! Yeah, never lucky. They didn't Protect either. Yep, they outspeed. Oof. So let's think about what we need to do in this part of the matchup. Because that Kommo-o is really good. Dango's really low, and you have a Fake Out pin. That's probably just game. I think we're going to have to Terastallize our Murkrow. Oh, they're going to go Fake Out then. So if I go Tailwind, Make It Rain, into Haze, Make It Rain, I think we actually win with just Murkrow. It's Speed Attack on Arcanine, but it's not Adamant. Yeah, we got this, I think. It's going to be, if they attack the Dango, they win, but I think they're going to Fake Out the Murkrow to stop the Speed Control. So we're just going to Make It Rain here, and Ghost Terra Tailwind to block the Fake Out. And then it's going to be up to Incin. Sorry, it's going to be up to Murkrow to break the Incin in the back. You have to Make It Rain. I don't think we can get away with, like, Thunderbolt. I don't think Thunderbolt's right. It might have been right, though. It's hard to say. Depends on what the item on this Incin is, I think. It really does. Fake out blocked. So we are going to get the KO on the Kommo here. Incin's going to get chunked. If they Citrus us here, big sad. That's not enough. Not enough at all. We can break the Sneasler, right? But we can't break the Incin. That's the issue. Again, not full special attack Dango coming to bite us once again. All right, they're going to go protect and try and break my Dango this turn. I think it has to just be foul play here. Let's see it. Big damage. No protect. Oh, we win. Cool. Yeah. Got it. Whew. Close. And so I think that, like, we were talking about what we want to change. We need more special attack in this Dango. We need more speed on all our mons in general. When they trade the speed tiers with us, like that Klangsoul Kommo got a +1 and was like really yeah, it doesn't have fake out here. I thought they were going to protect the Sneasler, but when the Kommo got the +1, it got really scary, and there was no real way for us to flip it, but we forced them to overcommit to a Ghost Terror and we got the win. So it was a good win. I think it was a good win. We featured Quaquaval predominantly. We used Trevenant in some of the games. A lot of Dango Murkrow action, but I think you can definitely optimize it. So we're going to take a look at the rental code one more time, and then we'll get into the whole fixing part of the team. If you guys like these sort of team fixing submission posts, you guys want to submit your own team, think about checking out the Patreon. Even the lowest tier gets access to this whole... I will take two plus hours, because I have to work on this before, and like fix your team live on stream for the low price of $2. Like, I think it's worth it. Let's check this out. Like we do daily rentals, we do articles, we have Patreon exclusive videos, teams. We're hosting a tournament this month. A lot of cool stuff to do on the Patreon. Think about checking it out right here. All right, and taking a look at this team one more time. So again, this is the rental code. I think this team does a lot of things right. The Quaquaval is cool, it can be optimized. Dango can definitely be optimized. Arcanine is the team's weak link, I think. Trevenant can be changed just a little bit. And Hydreigon, I think, needs to be optimized, but Hydreigon's the right idea here. I think the biggest thing that this team lacks is a big Mon to actually be paired with the Tailwind to set the right level of speed control. Because right now, like we were talking about, if I set Tailwind and you set Tailwind, I lose. We don't have no Mon that, like, if they want to lead like Tailwind plus Sneasler, we just lose the game, like in every game, right? We can't have that happen. We need to actually have something that can outvalue a Sneasler, otherwise we just lose. So I think adding a Mon that could do that would work. I think optimizing the Dango could work. We could also add a redirection Mon instead if we wanted to go that route, but I don't think that's how we should be playing like a Specs Dango Quaquaval team. I had a couple notes here. Yeah, I have a couple ideas for what I want to do with this Murkrow too. So let's start checking this out and go into the team fixing section. Professional YouTuber, streamer extraordinaire. Here we go. So this is where I'm going to go change all your EVs and change all your moves and stuff like that. I think by cutting this Arcanine for something that outspeeds Sneaslers, really, we would be in a good spot. So, like, honestly, any of, like... And you could also add a Sashmon. I think a Mon that could go very well here would be, like, a Weavile. I think Weavile will go very well here. It outspeeds Sneasler. It gets Triple Axle. It gives you Fake Out. You're not using a Sash, so it gives you a Sash as well. I think that's very, very nice. The problem is you have a lot of Fairy Weakness, but, like, honestly, like, we don't care if we have Fairy Weakness because we have, like, Steel Terra here. Like, if our Mons lose their weaknesses through a Terra and we still get the KO on them because we hit them for, like, neutral better, that's really good. Another Mon that you could just put here is your own Sneasler, right? I think Sneasler could just work here as well. Not Sneasel, but Sneasler. I think that definitely, like, could work. The Mon that I would opt to go for here is Dragapult. The reason I like Dragapult here is because it really makes it so I can just, like, for example, you just saw the game that we led against, like, the Entity Zoroark player, and we lost. We wouldn't have lost that one if we had Zoroark. We would have been able to outvalue, set fat damage into their board. If they redirect, they just, like, lose their Entity or force a Terra. And then from there, we just close with Dango or close with Hydreigon safely to avoid everything that Zoroark could have really brought to the table. So I think Dragapult is actually really good here. Yes, we have a lot of Ice weakness. Yes, we have a lot of Fairy weakness. I don't really think it matters. I also think adding a second like in third ghost types to be able to cover in for this Hydreigon weakness, because like we have this Hydreigon. Steel is the right Terra on Hydreigon, but like now it's really obvious that like fighting moves are just great into it, which is another reason like why we lost, you know, against the Gallade guy. So gives us other pivots into that, so it actually really works. So I think if we add like a Banded Pult there, it's gonna actually, you're gonna see a big boost in how the team performs. Let's start with this Trevenant. It was submitted with Ghost Terra. The Rental has Dark Terra. I like Fire Terra on my Trevenants because you don't want to ever be weak against that Gallade. And this also just helps against Make It Rain. It helps against Eruption spam. Fire Terra is a really good Terra on Trevenant, in my opinion. Also, remember to set your EV, your level to 50, make your EVs work. This was my same Trevenant set from a previous video. There's honestly nothing really wrong with it. You keep the even number to get your Citrus and your Harvest. I think it's fine. There are more special attackers in the meta than physical attackers, so this definitely works. Trevenant's just a cool mon, and shoutouts to using it. It's a cool set, definitely works. You could even cut this up if you wanted to. 56 is such a weird base speed, but you can cut that out into a 100 and go for like a 4-4 split there and there, but I don't think you need to. We also don't need to have any speed. It doesn't really matter. So Pult here, let's do this Banded Pult. We're going to Choice Band. There's multiple ways that people like to make their Choice Band Pults. Now, we were talking about outspeeding a Sneasler, right? So a Sneasler, right? This is what a lot of people are doing, and I don't agree with what people are doing here. So Sneasler gets to like 252 like Jolly, right? And so that's 189. So what people are doing is they're making their Pults like they're going to get to like 190, right? And then they're going like 252 Adamant with like a 428 4 set. And so they're cutting out of that speed for bulk and going with like a really big like Adamant Pult. And I do not agree with this because the one Pokemon that you lose to, first of all, now you get outsped by like Meowscarada, Weavile, Talonflame, everything. You know, we were outspeeding any weird mon that has like a speed boost from like a base 90 will outspeed you as well. I think you actually have to just bite the bullet and just be full speed Pult. Like, I know it sucks. This is one of those like things that it just costs to play the game correctly. But like, and we're going to get that up into a 4-4-4 here. This Pult says like, I threaten your Pult. I don't want to be weak to your Pult. I remember what we're trying to do is create a situation where we can lead with something that forces them to react defensively, not offensively. And if they do react offensively and lead their Pult back into me, we're going to pin them, right? So I think that just like Choice Band full speed Pult, yes, it's less damage. It's not about the damage. It's about getting damage off before you die, which is really important. So I think we obviously want the darts. I think U-turn's good, so U-turn's going to go up here. I like Dragon Darts. I also really like Phantom Force, being able to come in and break like wide guards and stuff like that, and so enable like your Dango and other mons to perform correctly. And the last move here, I've actually really liked Outrage. Just Banded Outrage, Dragon Terra, Double Dip, very, very good. I think this is good. Some people will just put Terra Blast here. I like Outrage. Outrage works for me. Dragon Rush is also kind of cool. Hydreigon. I don't think you want like full speed Hydreigon if you're not going to go Timid. So you'd have to go Timid, and that means that I think we should just be cutting like a lot of this out. I'd get my Hydreigon to like right there. And I know that sounds really weird, but like we're going to be able to flesh out a lot more of its bulk. Specifically, I would go with something like 36 is fine. We don't need Earth Power here. We're going to cut that for something else probably. Let's see what we want to cut that for. What do we want to cut this for? I'd like a little bit of speed control. I also wouldn't mind like just putting Dragon Tail on that slot. Dragon Tail can be really good on Hydreigon just because you can go for a... You can get rid of those Trick Room setters. Like the whole point of this Hydreigon is to stop Trick Room, right? And on a vested set like this, there's not really that many other things you could do. You could put U-turn on it. You could put Breaking Swipe on it. That's also an option. I don't really like the Breaking Swipe because they can pivot in Dangos and stuff like that. A little bit of speed control here would be nice. Bulldoze is also an option. I don't mind Dragon Tail. I think Dragon Tail is actually kind of nice. Because you just force pivots. Focus Blast is another really cool one. Let's actually put Focus Blast on it and run some calcs here. So we're going to put in a Hydreigon on the side. And you may be thinking, Focus Blast misses, not a good move. No, it's the right move in the right situation if you have a really big weakness to something like a King Gambit. So let's plug in the King Gambit. And let's plug in just like an offensive King Gambit. Like just a full, I'm looking at like a full HP one. And let's plug in Focus Blast over here. So Focus Blast from no investment Hydreigon will OHKO a full HP Gambit. So definitely by a lot. Let's see if we KO one of those. So even if they have like full HP and Spadef, they're going to get KO'd. If they are full HP with an Assault Vest, they don't get KO'd. So you don't KO Assault Vest Gambit, but if you have a teammate that can do 8%, you actually have a good chance to do it. You have a 56% chance to get OHKO it. I think that means maybe just putting like a little bit more. That's a lot more, but it's okay. There we go. So 140, I'm down with that. We have those extra points, so might as well do it. Right, so 140 here. Drop that down to like a 121. This is going to be able to outspeed off like a +1 or -1 calc if we need it. We're not going to need that much speed control, honestly, though. We're going to go with a 92.4 to round this out, and we're going to test this to see if it works, but I actually really like this. So Goldango here. Goldango, this is one of those mons that, like, in my opinion, it's very similar to Pult. Just click the button. Like, just click the button. Like, if your Dango's not full speed, it gets checked by their Dangos. You want to create situations, right, where they have to play defensively. And if they do play offensively, which is bad, we punish, right? And so if you want to go with like your Dango into my Dango, I'm going to try and bully you out of the game. I'm going to try and force you to go with like a Dragon Terra, a Flying Terra. I'm going to go for that fat Steel Terra, make it rain, double tap you and win because I'm faster. And yeah, I don't hit very hard, but I know my speed tier works. And we're kind of flipping. Like now, instead of Dango being the bulky one and Hydreigon being the fast one, now they're switched. Hydreigon's a pivot for the Dango. So we can just drop our team points here. Now it's all through Patreon. Right there. So Dango, just go faster. Murkrow. I have a really cool idea for this Murkrow. I think you can keep the Screech because now we have like Pult to also be paired with. We have the Quaquaval obviously still be paired with. I think the Murkrow set can be optimized. I would actually just run a Sash Murkrow here. That's just my opinion. But if you want to run Eviolite, we can optimize that. I think the move that you're missing here is I actually don't think you need Foul Play. Foul Play is not actually hitting that many mons very hard. A lot of the mons in the meta are like fighting or like fighting resist or like dark. There's not that many things you can actually foul play for a lot of damage other than Pult, which we don't really need to care about the Pult, especially because we added our own that's faster. So I think you can actually cut this for Quash. And I really like this because this is going to create a situation where even if you do trade speed tier with me, I can actually still outvalue with Quash. I really, really like this. I also think there's a lot of, it gives Murkrow an out into Trick Room teams too, because now what you can do is if you bring Quaquaval at any point and you Ice Spin her out their Indity, you take away their terrain, then you can quash all their Trick Room setters, or not setters, but their teammates in Trick Room and just KO them with your teammates. I really, really like the quash here. It's really cool tech. You may be noting we have no offensive moves, and that's completely fine. Murkrow does not need any speed if we're not going to be going with anything like this. So I think it's absolutely okay to just put the full points in bulk. I would just be playing for, probably just be playing for the bump here with bump and Spadef. So we go until... You see it's 86. With this extra tick, it goes to 88. So that's the bump on Murkrow. It goes to right there. And so you get an extra point by combining your nature, which is a 10% boost into whatever stat it's in, with the actual points that you get. And that's your Murkrow set now. Quaquaval. I really think that they said in their write-up that it's made to outspeed Decidueye. And this is my opinion. I like that there's bulk here. And I think that you can keep the bulk. I still think that you can get away with like a 2v2 set. Outspeeding Dango is such a good speed tier. Just being able to bully Dango is huge. And the fact that you have close, if you ever throw out one close combat, all this bulk values for not. But let's just keep your set. You actually had a really good set the first time. You played to your bump. Actually, is that for the bump? Let's see. I think this is a good use spread. Outspeeding 120s is all you really need on an Aqua Step Mon. So I think this is fine. You could also think about making this Ghost, but I don't think you need to. I think this is okay. And so I'm going to actually go test this in some games and see how it goes. But I think the Quaquaval was like spot on for what you wanted the team to do. So Sneasler, Rilla, Ninetales, kind of weird. In Sin, Dragonite, Quaquaval. So what we were talking about, right? We want to force them into reacting defensively, right? And they rejected open team sheets. That's fine. We're playing for closed sheet anyways. So reacting defensively. That means instead of, like, if I lead Dango, you can't really pressure Dango with a Sneasler. You can't pressure it with Rilla. You could redirect Shadow Balls with like Quaquaval, but Quaquaval doesn't want you to make it rain unless it wants to waste Terra. Dragonite can't really do anything either, which means we know they have to go in Sin. And if they have to go in Sin, something like Clear Body Pult is great. So I think I can get away with probably Murkrow. I don't even need Murkrow. We can get away with Pult. I think Pult Dango is actually like really, really solid because we can just pivot out for Hydreigon if they want to lead Ninetales. And then I think that Quaquaval could be very viable here. We can even just lead with Quaquaval, but I don't want to lead into Fake Out. Let's try that. Let's try it. So we should be forcing the big Incin. And if they want to lead like Incin Clef or just the Clef, like that's why we still have the Goldango to be able to say like make it rain will happen, right? So we're in a really, really good spot here. Let's see what they want to do. Waiting on them. I think another thing that like about these videos that I really like is people get an understanding into how I like to play the teams. And so you see like the situations that we're trying to force and why we're trying to force them. And you see when they lead something like this Rilla and this Quaquaval, like this guy's like, ha, I can redirect away your Pult and redirect away all your stuff right here. And I'm like, I mean, I could just click U-turn, you know, like I can just click this U-turn and go into my Hydreigon if I want to. I think I might. I'm going to click the U-turn. I'm going to target the Rilla. And I could trick into the Clef. I think I'm just going to click Make It Rain. If you want to go Fire Terra here, that's your Terra down. And getting away their Terra on like the first turn of the game is so good. Because that's their one get out of jail free card. Right? It's their one get out of jail free card. And you see how they're reacting defensively to what we're doing? They're trying to mitigate the damage, weather the storm. When you go into that mindset, in my situation, you're starting to play into getting crit, into getting flinched by things. You can't just be having that. They are actually clicking like a Moonblast or a D-Gleam here, so we don't want to come with Hydreigon. Quaquaval can probably eat the damage if we don't KO with the Make It Rain. But remember, we have full special attack investments, so we hit pretty dang hard. Dunzo. Cool, and Quaquaval's already ready. Ready, willing, and able on the board. There's no more Rilla, so Quaquaval's great, ready to sweep it up here. I wonder why they went Terra. Or sorry, I wonder why they Grassy Glided that. Awesome. So Ninetales, Dragonite. If we had full speed Quaquaval, which I was talking about, I still think you should like think about it. We'd be able to outspeed this Dragonite. That'd be really cool. I'm just gonna go Ice Spinner into it. If you want to go like normal Terra, like pop it like it's hot, I don't really care. I'm going to pivot in my Hydreigon just to get Dango's -1 gone, and then be able to just come back in and potentially lock in like Thunderbolt or E-Speed. I like that you have Thunderbolt. Power Gem's also an option if you're not liking the Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt's right for Dozo. Water Terra Ninetales. Don't care. Ice Spinner, Dunzo. Moxie boosted. Dunzo. Alright, and we just go CC and Dark Pulse from here. You don't really need Earth Power. I like the Focus Blast tech. Cool. And we take those wins. Easy. Easy fix. Easy fix. And if we didn't have the Pult there, right? If we didn't have the Pult, they would have been able to bully us with that Sneasler. If we had Arcanine, they would have just led Sneasler Clef and been able to like go like follow me, redirect, pin all my teammates, and like just absolutely bully us with a Sash Sneasler. The Pult just disincentivized it totally. So it's good stuff. All right. Let's go into another one. Oh, that's weird. Right, so Rain Core with Telepathy Boom Burst stuff. Fake Out Blaster. This could be Shell Smash. What if Rillaboom had knockoff? Oh, we would have lived it. And Rillaboom didn't need a chance to move, right? They didn't click Follow Me in that last game. So Rillaboom never would have got a chance to move because Dango outsped. And we went Make It Rain U-turn into that slot. So they would have just died. They wouldn't have been able to knock off. Let's think about what we want to do here. Quaquaval can definitely come. I need to actually lead like Dynamic Speed Control to outvalue like their ability to lead Basculegion and Pelipper. They can go things like Sableye and mess with my board, but we're going to try our best to play around that. I think Dango is still viable, and I'm going to bring Hydreigon instead of Quaquaval for this one because Hydreigon's great into Basculegion. Pelipper and Blastoise. Cool, so you can go Fake Out. I don't necessarily care about Shell Smash because I can always haze it. So I think what I'm going to do is just Screech the Pelipper, and I'm going to actually double dip my darts and just try and go for... Oh, I have Dragonets, not darts. I'm such an idiot. I typed that incorrectly, so we don't have darts. Whoops. Next game. So we'll just play this differently then. Do we want to Screech then? Do we need a Tailwind? I'll still Screech. I'm just going to go Screech into your Blastoise and just click a Phantom Force in that slot. Protect's good. Don't care if you want a Tailwind here. Yep, Tailwind's the right play here, but it doesn't really matter because we can trade Tailwinds whenever we feel like it. I'm going to go for the Screech into that same slot and the Phantom Force to break it. So if we had darts, we would have just won the game there, by the way. Because we initially wanted to go target the Pelipper with like Dragon Dart Screech, right? That's what we wanted to do to play around that Protect play. Because you were either going to A, set a Helping Hand, sorry, set a, what is that move? Sorry, set a Shell Smash, or you were going to like B, Protect and set Tailwind. So they set Tailwind. We still get the KO. I want to see if it's Basculegion coming in here. Noivern, I do not care. This is where we set our Tailwind because we outspeed and outvalue here. And just Phantom Force this Noivern slot. We actually check the Pelipper pretty well with Goldango. And we Tailwind trade. Start staggering those Tailwinds. Air Cutter. Air Cutter's kind of cool, actually. It's not bad. And that's a scoop. Awesome. So we fixed our Dragapult. Oh, no, another one. There wasn't anything they could really do in that situation. You see how Pult just really changes how this team plays? So, very, very solid team. Sneasler, Chomp. We outvalue a lot of these guys with Pult. But they, like, Ninetales is pretty good into the Pult. So they're probably going to be bringing the Ninetales. And so what I'm going to do, since they don't have dynamic speed control, which is like Prankster speed control, I can actually leave Murkrow Dango into this and go for a fat Make It Rain to pin this Ninetales and drop Protect and see other stuff like that. Then come in with things like Pult and Quaquaval to close out the game. That's the idea. Alright, there's the Ninetales like we said. See how we forced it in the first slot. First slot. So you can go Fake Out here. I don't think I care if you Fake Out me. Go nuts. I think there's two things that can happen here. Like the Sneasler can go Dark Terror and Oko me. We can go I'm gonna go Ghost and just play it. I don't know what you're gonna do. There's the Fake Out. Cool. That's fine. I didn't want to waste my Terra, but it's not that important in this game, honestly. Just getting this Ninetales like off the board enables Dragapult to win. There's their Sash. And this makes it so like we don't have to let them Aurora Veil. Right, there's the Garchomp. Again, Tailwind's up. I don't really care. We have Quash. We have a lot of different options here. We're just going to go for a Haze Make It Rain again. They're probably going to Steel Terror your Garchomp. And then we're going to come with Quaquaval and clean you up with close combat. No Terra. Cool. Works for me. Coaching. Oh, that's sick. He like weaved in that coaching. Crit. Never lucky. All right, so Chomp gets a turn to do something. I don't care if it Earthquakes. He was going to Earthquake his Sneasler. You KO'd the Goldango, but it doesn't really matter. Because we have... I'm going to bring in the Pult. Because if you go Dragonite here... Oh, it's Bulk. So we still have like good options here. Let me really think about this. I'm going to Haze. And I'm going to Darts. Let me really think about that. Is Haze right? It's not. It's actually better to go Screech. And Darts. Oh, yeah. You see that value? Oh, that is sick. Look at that. Show me that Citrus. No Citrus? Dunzo, though. That was so sick. Oh, that was like the coolest thing anyone's ever seen in their life. And that's it. Fire Terra. GG's. Pult completely changes how this team plays. It gives you so many more options offensively. And it makes it so you don't have to win the game with Dango. You just have to do some damage and take away the couple threats away from the Pult. So hopefully you liked these changes. Let me answer this question. If I EV train a Pokemon and I let it say go over the 252 by knocking out one more Pokemon, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. No, it does not. You can only get 252 in a stat. Like let's say, for example, you were also like EV training with like HP ups or Carboses and you gave it 26, it just caps off at that 252. But yeah, hopefully you like these changes. I think this team is a lot better. I think it's a lot easier to play too, and it hits the right speed tiers. So thank you so much to Curtis for submitting this team. If anyone else wants to submit a team, think about checking out the Patreon. You know, link to it right here. Even the lowest tier, the $2 tier, gets access to all this stuff. So I'm just trying my best to be consistent. And yeah, this was a fun one to fix. Quaquaval's good.